Let's get the round out of the way, because there is an awful lot to discuss about what Cursor is doing and how Cursor's been being used. But my goodness, you've raised quite a lot of money quite quickly from the last time you raised money at a much higher valuation. Why and what does it mean to you?
Well, first, thank you for having me. We raised this money to invest deeply in research. And we are this company that's something in between a product company and then also an AI and models company. And in parts, it's an important product lever for us to do our own investment in product-specific models. And that's something we've been doing for many years. This lets us do that in a bigger way.
It's AI coding. And, you know, I was in Washington, D.C. for GTC DC. Jensen Huang goes on stage and he made a very pointed remark that software, generally speaking, is now worth paying for. And he used Cursor as the case study. Would you actually talk us through the case study? NVIDIA is a big company. It has many of its own engineers. How are they using Cursor? What are they using it for? And how are you charging them for it?
Well, we've been really happy to see not just the accelerating demand in our market, but also the success in our deployments with customers. There was actually a study that came out recently that showed that customers, after they switch to our agent, get 40% more done. And
this is a productivity reference for the engineer themselves, the workload that they're trying to get through.
Yes.
Okay.
It's looking at pull requests merged and metrics like that. But folks are seeing lots of success out in the field. And so to Jensen's comment, the ROI of buying the tool is just has been so high for many of our customers, which makes us really happy. And on the pricing front, there's two components. One is a seat component, where we look at usage. We look at how many people are using Cursor every month within an account, and then pricing matches that. And then if folks are using the product in a really, really deep way, there's also a usage component, similar to a Databricks or a Snowflake.
What's interesting is vibe coding was all the lexicon in the past few months. And many people felt that it was individuals who were paying the $20 for Cursor and really doing it and really feeling the power of understanding and being able to prompt. How about now what you call AI coding? Is this more of an enterprise play? Is it more of a sit at home and play it being a developer play?
We serve professional development teams, and in particular, professional engineers are our ICP. And so when we use the term AI coding, it's to underline that we care. You know, there are some folks that experiment with the tool for prototypes, but the core use case, the reason the vast majority of customers are using Cursor, is to get real work done in their real jobs. And that means shipping carefully in professional code bases at the highest degree of quality.
We were just talking about all the CEOs of the Magnificent Seven and others who have been using Cursor, been talking about Cursor. They must have been calling Cursor. Michael, how many inbounds are you getting on companies wanting to buy you at this moment?
We've been really excited to see demand both across the Mag 7. 6 out of 7 of the Mag 7 actually are customers, and we're really happy about that. But then also staples of the real economy like Starbucks and PwC and Hilton and Budweiser. And then many digital natives like Stripe, Adobe, Uber, NVIDIA, Shopify, and others like that.
I'm going to jump in there, Ed, just quickly because...
Go for it, please, yeah.
You're not answering exactly my question. Has anyone been trying to buy you?
I can't talk about things like that here.
You can talk about them here. Bloomberg Tech is the right place for it. What you've been doing is shopping yourself. I find that very interesting. You used M&A to address your own talent requirements, growth by design. What was behind that move, and what was the problem you were trying to solve for in doing that?
Growth by Design was a talent agency that we had worked with for a long time, and the folks that were running that business, we got to know over many months, working with them on building the team. They're respected recruiting leaders in the industry, and we started talking with them a few months ago about whether they would come in-house and join us to lead talent for us. And this is a strategy that we've taken kind of across the board, whether it be in R&D, go-to-market, G&A. We look for the best people in our industry, and sometimes, conveniently or inconveniently, they're running their own companies.
What's so interesting is how fierce the talent fight has been in many ways, Michael. Talk to us about where you are getting your talent from, how you're going to see that Growth by Design is going to bring on even more of the best people to work and build your business.
Still largely folks that join us we reach out to, and that's through knowing past colleagues of theirs, and we invite them to interview. But more and more, we're scaling that and trying to diversify how we find folks. And then we have a deep interview process where, for instance, on the engineering side of things, we invite folks in for 2 whole days to spend 2 days with us going end-to-end on a project. And that's both giving them lots of information on us as a company. It also gives us really great signal about whether they're going to be a fit when they join.
You've grown incredibly quickly, and you've joined us on this program to explain how Cursor is being used in the real world and generating real revenues. But if you were to reflect honestly on what's still difficult for you and Cursor and what some of the, I guess, barriers or headwinds are to your industry or you specifically, what are they? What is it that you need to see change right now?
Well, we have a long product journey left. We're just at the very start of how we think building software and coding is going to change over the course of the next few years. And I think it can be really, really easy for folks who are removed from writing code all day to stay in touch with just how far away we are from all of software changing. And despite all of the change over the past few years, there's still so much further to go. And so in particular, we're very focused on making Cursor not just more productive for individual engineers, but now helping teams broadly and helping across the software development lifecycle.
Those that we regard as leaders of industry have talked about the AI displacement of jobs or not displacement of jobs. And actually, as it relates to Cursor, many take the view that it's not AI that's going to take your job, it's somebody that uses AI that's likely to take your job. Just through the lens of what Cursor sees through its customers and internally, where do you sit on that debate, Michael?
Definitely in the data that we have, we don't see that. We see the fold of who's participating in the software development lifecycle expanding. And that's more engineers getting within the fold and growing seats within engineering accounts and growing engineering teams. But that's also folks in support or in design helping to do small changes within a production code base too.